Hey y'all, recently I had the opportunity to attend a SERE school, or a SERE class, at 88 Tactical right outside of Omaha, Nebraska. And in their case, SERE stands for Survive, Endure, Respond, Excel. SERE in a military context is generally survival, evasion, escape, resistance, escape, survival, evasion, resistance, escape. And there's some elements of that in this class, but this is really more geared towards the civilian side, so it's not nearly as in-depth or as intense, for lack of a better word, for those guys who have been through an actual SERE course. It's really more to give someone an experience. There's certainly a lot of skills that are taught and things that are taught, but it's also, I would say, more of a mindset class than it is a hard skills class, even though it's extremely physical. What I want to do is go through some of the gear that I used during that class, some of the pros and cons of it, how it worked out. Some of this is gear that I've been using for a while. Some of it is stuff that I brought specific to that class to kind of, for lack of a better term, test it and put it in some type of context. Some of it is stuff I'm being professionally, I'm professionally consulting on it. Some of it is my personal gear. It's kind of a hodgepodge. So let's go through some of it and I'll tell you what I liked and didn't like about it. Okay, the first thing being that it's a SERE course, and I didn't know what to expect going into it. Okay, I saw SERE and thought, like most people, okay, this is going to be someone trying to take us captive and all this kind of stuff, which did happen. So I was thinking more on the escape. I needed the tools and the skills to escape if this were to happen. So one thing I used was the Dynamis low profile belt from Dom Rosso. It has some unique features in it that allow for the secreting of various items in it. I've worn this belt once I first got it as an everyday belt for probably about 4 or 5 months. I really like the design. I like the concept. The one drawback to it is that the Velcro is not very strong. And I carry appendix for my EDC. And being somewhat of a husky guy, if I bend over or move or torque too hard, it's real easy for this to come attached. And Velcro is going to wear over time. I don't know if there's even a solution for this, but I really like the design of the belt. It worked well for me in that context. What I did was take this belt. I always keep $50 in it just to have on me in case of an emergency. And then I took the ITS Tactical Urban Survival Kit that Brian over there sent me a while back, and took some of the components out of it and used it in the belt. The first was the ceramic razor blade. I took it and placed it in this mesh pocket, and there's actually 2 pockets here. I also used the tiny handcuff key. I have one in each of these pockets. I have one secreted in the back here, and I have them in other places on my body because I didn't know that maybe they'll be using handcuffs. So I had that ceramic blade in here. Then I took from there, I don't have it here in front of me, but there's also a small survival saw blade and razor blade. I actually took that and taped it to the inside of my thigh right around my groin in case they saw this belt and took it off, which lots of times they'll take belts and shoes and things like that off. And I had that taped on the inside as kind of a last ditch thing. Another thing I did was I was wearing my Salomons. I took the Kevlar cord from there, which I also had some other handcuff keys in each of these little pockets up top, and put the Kevlar cord, and I keep that in my Salomons so that I could get to it, another location on my body that I can get to something. That was in there. So this worked out really well for me. Like I said, the we weren't carrying an appendix, so the Velcro wasn't an issue, but the belt's a great design. I'd just like to see a little bit of improvement on the Velcro, and it may have improved since I got this. I got it relatively early when it came out, and I like it. It's a good belt for EDC. So then there were some firearms segments, and for that I used my High-Speed Gear Slim Grip, their new slim version of their Sure Grip padded belt. And on it I just had, we were doing a handgun only class, so I had my typical handgun rig that I train with our M3T medical pouch, because there was a medical portion that we did, a tactical medicine, where we did basically injured shooter type drills. So I had this, just another opportunity to practice and do some more testing on the M3T, which has been very well received and of course served well. I ran my Safariland, I think it's 6450 DO, the red dot optic equipped Safariland ALS holster. Everything with this worked great. No new news there. one of the newer pieces of gear that I got to try out was the MilSpecMonkey Adapt Pack. I got this a while back from Monkey, and other than kind of throwing stuff in it for trips and stuff, I didn't really get a chance to try it out on anything. So again, not knowing what environment we were going to be in, if it was going to be primarily urban, primarily wooded, whatever, I just went with this pack. I'll show you some of the things I brought, what I used, what I didn't use as we go through here. I had some gloves, definitely must-have gloves for, these are actually, I think these are some old Oakleys. No, these are OR. These are some outdoor research gloves. Again, I didn't know if I'd be running and fighting or what we'd be doing, so I had some pretty protective gloves. This is a SureFire knife, the Task Force dagger that my buddy got me as a gift. I finally got to take it out and really use it. Worked great. And this is just a custom sheath that I had made for me by Rob Tran over at Off the Grid Concepts. And it holds a multi-tool, a small little flashlight that apparently, yep, right here. And then a fire steel from Exotac that's all dummy corded on there. So I'm able to take it and either put it on my war belt, because I have the G-code RTI. I can put it on that wheel, and then I also have a paddle in here, so if I'm dropping all my gear and I'm just doing, you know, some type of bushcraft work, I can have just a knife on me without having to have all that bulk. It's just on a paddle that we'll see in a minute. Going through some of the stuff that was on the gear list. For a shelter, I brought an old school poncho, military poncho. You definitely need to bring some type of water. Just given the short nature of the course, it wasn't, you know, you were provided water, just taking that element out of it. So I just brought an old Camelback that I had laying around. On the outside of the pack, I had some chem lights. And this is a pretty cool little tool that I got out of one of the either tac packs or battle boxes or one of those monthly subscriptions. This is a Schrade pen that has, of course, an ink pen on it, but then it also has a fire steel built into it that you can get to. And the cap has a whistle. So I figured I'd take that out just in case we needed it and everything. You know, I didn't really use it, to be quite honest, but it was there, and it was a secondary fire steel if I needed it. On the little inside through and through pouch, I kept the stuff I need to get to relatively quickly. We, of course, were not supposed to have any type of communications. Now, this was a unique course in that it was primarily industry people, people that work in the industry. So there's some articles and some things that are going to come out of that. So a few of us were allowed to have our cell phones strictly for the purpose of taking pictures. Other than that, there was no communicating or anything like that. So I brought this just to protect my iPhone, because I learned that lesson the expensive way a couple of times. Some extra CR123 batteries for my lights. Roll of Gorilla Tape. This is the paddle I was talking about if I wanted to just put the knife on, this is how I wore the knife most of the time. If we were going to be doing a lot of movement, I could take it off and put it to the side of the pack, so I had a little more mobility with that. Bug spray and sunscreen. Wasn't that bad. I used the bug spray a little bit, but it really wasn't that bad. SureFire Fury. Headlamp. I brought several headlamps. And then going into the main compartment of the pack, I brought a kind of a combat type shirt. Again, long sleeves. It was pretty warm, but I brought long sleeves just because it could get a little chilly at night, and I didn't know what environment we were going to be in, so I wanted something to protect my arms if I needed it. This was a hygiene kit, to be quite honest, I never even got into. This just has basic hygiene stuff. This was another ground tarp, just a little $5 tarp from Walmart. They had several prototype tarps that they were working with that they allowed us to test and use. So none of my shelter material really got used because I used theirs. So, but this was there in case I needed it. I also had a hammock. So my intent was to lay a hammock, have a ground tarp for my gear, and then an over tarp for rain. I had a secondary knife, a Mora. I just had a small emergency bivvy just in case I needed it. I didn't know what to expect with water, so I did have a water straw, a purification straw. Of course, 55-gallon heavy-duty drum liner. I had my underwear and my socks and all that stuff. I happen to have access to a vacuum sealer, so I vacuum sealed all that stuff. One, to keep it dry, and two, just for space. So I broke out new socks and new underwear on day 2, but I had all that available to me when I needed it, as well as another t-shirt. This is a Rifle Dynamics shirt that I got a while back. It's kind of a quick dry shirt, so again, it was hot. If I could change my shirt and change my socks, I would be pretty comfortable. This was kind of a med pouch. You know, we had a lot of different people with a lot of different injuries and things like that, and different physical health. So this has your ibuprofen, you know, cold medicine, stomach medicine, just general meds in case someone needed it. Canteen cup if we need a bowl of water or anything. And my hammock system. And then I had a little bag with, this is going to be more headlamp batteries, another headlamp batteries, and just a survival whistle and compass and that stuff there. And then I had a bag for fire, which we learned how to make primitive fire, several different methods. I fortunately didn't break into any of this. I kept it, you know, as a standby, but I really tried to do it the hard way, and it was hard, but I did succeed. So this is a little waterproof bag from Walmart. A Battle Systems small VR panel, and it has a signal mirror inside. So just, again, I didn't know what we'd be doing if we need to find or locate or anything like that. This is just a little piece of grill. I didn't know if we'd be catching wood or catching food or cooking it or whatever, so I had that with me. Can opener, some wet fire, a trioxane fuel. I didn't know what to expect of the temperature in Omaha. I'm a southern boy. I don't like to be cold, so I brought some hand warmers just in case. Some eating utensils or essentials, depending on how you look at it. And then, of course, some 550 cord wrapped around a spool tool. This little thing's awesome. It provided me another means of fire. It has a razor blade in it to cut it. Worked great. That's all the stuff that I brought with me. Some of this stuff I used, some of it I didn't. Like I said, I never really did hang the hammock or use any of the stuff. Am I telling you not to bring it? Absolutely not. I'm telling you to bring it. We were just fortunate that they had stuff there for us to use. And if you don't have any of this gear, they have stuff there you can use and put in your pack. They did do a pack shakedown to make sure nobody had food or anything like that. But all my gear worked well. No real complaints on anything. I will say, though, I've had this little setup for quite a while. And I know this all to be quality gear, but I've never honestly tried it. And I caught hell trying to catch a fire with just this Exotac. Finally, I was able to take the saw blade and my multi-tool, and it got me better striking without cutting up my fingers on this itty bitty little striker. That just gets really, really hard to do after a while. And I wasn't cold or hurt or anything like that. So I would definitely recommend you have something nice and strong. I tried using the back of the knife. It just wasn't quite sharp enough of an angle to do it well. What ended up working out best for me, as you could probably, I don't know if you can see from here, but the burn marks on it, I used the serrated blade on that, and it worked great. So a little bit of trial and error, but I found out the limitations of myself and my gear. So that's something you need to know. You need to know what's going to work for you. I would have carried this into the woods thinking I was squared away and ready to go. And if I would have been in a little bit of damp environment or needed a fire in a hurry, I'd have been screwed. So that's a little bit of what I brought, and what worked and what didn't. The MilSpecMonkey Adapt Pack worked great. It was comfortable. It held up. Nothing, no real complaints there. For the stuff I brought, it was the perfect size. I've had an opportunity to look at their newer pack, the Boss Beaver. It's slightly bigger with a little more capacity here to like the things I had. Instead of just having a shock cord, it has an actual panel to put like a helmet or something like that in it. I think that would have worked a little bit better for me, just to give me a little quicker access to stuff. But this certainly worked great. No complaints at all. Great product made by Tactical Tailor, so it's made here in the U.S. It's just an overall great pack. Also had a little to clean my glasses because it was hot during the day. We were sweating, so we wore safety glasses all day because we were in the woods. So we did some rope work. We did some rope lines across a ravine. We did all kind of stuff, medical classes. So we got to use a lot of this gear in different contexts. I would highly recommend, if you have the opportunity to take that course, to do it. You're going to learn some great skills. The guys at 88 Tactical are awesome. They're extremely knowledgeable, very high credibility with the instructors, and they're just fun. Man, it was a good class. I learned a few things I didn't know before. I really like the bushcraft stuff. There were some force on force. There was some low light. There was a lot of different elements brought into this course. So It's something I would recommend you possibly do with friends. You can also do it as a corporate event, as a team building event. There's a lot of opportunity there. So this is what I used. This is what worked for me, and it definitely put to test my motto of be vigilant, be prepared, be safe.